Hey there. Let's take a step back, not just in time, but into the very fabric of storytelling, not into royal courts or noisy battles, but into something older, quieter, stranger. A time when the world had no name, no sky, no sea, just possibility. This is the story of how everything began, of gods who didn't start as gods and mortals who never stood a chance. A story shaped by chaos, driven by fate, and whispered through every age that followed. If you're ready, dim the lights, take a breath, and let the myths unfold. The first breath before light, before sound, before even the stars had names. There was chaos, not the loud kind, not arguments or disaster, but the still, endless kind, the kind that waits. From that silence came Gaia, Earth herself, strong, still, timeless, and from her came Uranus, the sky, who arched above her, silent and cold. They were the first, not lovers, not quite, but necessary halves of a whole. Together they created Tartarus, the abyss beneath all things. Eros, not love as we know it, but the drive to connect, the engine of becoming. And then one by one the elements fell into place. Night, day, light, and shadow. From Gaia and Uranus came children, not soft, sweet babies, titans, vast, powerful beings with names like Oceanus, Hyperion, Themis, and Rhea. They were strange, brilliant, terrifying. And Uranus, he hated them. Maybe they reminded him how fragile his rule was. Maybe he simply feared what they could become. So he did the worst thing a father could. He buried them, stuffed them back inside their mother. Gaia, broken and aching, did not scream. She planned. The first rebellion. She shaped a sickle from mountain stone and went to her sons, still trapped inside her body. "Help me," she whispered, "and you'll be free." One son answered. Cronus, the youngest, the quiet one. But in mythology, the quiet ones are often the most dangerous. He took the sickle, and when Uranus next descended to cover the sky across Gaia's body, Cronus struck. One clean slice, one scream that shook creation. From the blood that fell came new beings, the Furies, the giants, and from the sea foam, Aphrodite, goddess of beauty. Violence creates strange things in myth, sometimes even love. With Uranus overthrown, Cronus claimed the cosmos. He freed his siblings, ruled the heavens, and declared a new age. Golden, clean, peaceful. But there's always a catch. His father's last breath was a curse. "One day," Uranus warned, "your child will do the same to you." Cronus laughed, then married his sister and began eating his own children. A hidden baby Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, Poseidon. Each time Rhea gave birth, Cronus opened his mouth. Down they went, whole, silent, forgotten, until the sixth. Rhea, desperate, wrapped a stone in cloth, handed it to Cronus, and he swallowed, without looking. The real baby, Zeus, was whisked away, to a hidden cave in Crete, raised by nymphs, fed by a divine goat. He grew up hearing whispers, of siblings he'd never met, of a father who feared the future. And when he was ready, he didn't roar. He waited. He slipped into Cronus's court disguised as a servant, poisoned his wine with something old and volcanic, and Cronus began to gag. One by one, the swallowed gods came back up, whole, angry, divine. And now the real war could begin. The Titanomachy, 10 years of war, old gods versus new. Cronus and the Titans stood on Mount Othrys. Zeus and the Olympians claimed Mount Olympus. The earth cracked, lightning danced, nothing held still. At first the Titans had the upper hand. They were ancient, massive, but Zeus was clever. He dove into Tartarus, found the 100-handed giants, the Cyclops, freed them. In return they gave gifts, a thunderbolt for Zeus, a trident for Poseidon, a helm of invisibility for Hades, and now the tides turned. Thunder split mountains, oceans drowned armies, shadows slipped through enemy lines. Cronus fell, not with a speech, just a bolt of sky and fury. The Titans scattered, chained, forgotten. Atlas was forced to hold the sky. Not the earth, as people often say. The sky, endless, heavy, lonely. The new order with victory came division. Zeus drew the sky, Poseidon took the sea, Hades accepted the underworld. The earth, too complicated. So they shared it, uneasily. Mount Olympus became their home, high above storms, untouched by war. But peace? Not quite. The Olympians rise. Zeus sat on a throne of clouds, god of law, thunder, and occasional scandal. He ruled loudly, proudly, impulsively, a walking contradiction with a beard. Poseidon lived deep beneath the waves, moody, powerful, obsessed with horses. Hades kept to himself, silent, stern, watching over the dead with quiet dignity. And then came the others. Hera, goddess of marriage, proud and unforgiving. Demeter, of the harvest, warm until she wasn't. Hestia, hearthkeeper, gentle, constant. Athena, born from Zeus's skull, wise, armored, unbending. Apollo, radiant god of sun and music. Artemis, goddess of the hunt, fierce and free. Ares, chaos of war, loud, often bleeding. Hephaestus, god of the forge, brilliant and burned. Aphrodite, born of sea foam, beautiful and deadly. Hermes, the trickster, fast-talking and winged. Dionysus, god of wine, wild, strange, and joyful. They fought, they loved, they meddled. And mortals, they prayed, they cursed, they wondered. And so it echoes. The gods built palaces, started feuds, fell in love with mortals. They raised heroes, broke them, launched wars over apples and pride. Their stories became ours, not because they were perfect, but because they were familiar. Jealousy, love, betrayal, hope. What else is more human than that? And as the stars turn overhead, as lightning rolls across the sky, as waves crash and shadows stir, you can still hear them.